Dear all, welcome to the class of International Economics. When we were giving an introduction to international economics, we said this subject can be classified broadly into two. One is international trade and another one is international finance. We have already discussed the concepts and theories of international trade. So from today onwards, we are dealing with some of the concepts and also some of the theories related to international finance. So this is another module on exchange rate and foreign exchange market. So in this module, firstly we are discussing exchange rate and its changes. Depreciation, appreciation, overvaluation or undervaluation, or revaluation, devaluation. So these all are the changes in exchange rate. So in this video, we will be discussing what is exchange rate, what are the different types of exchange rate, and also changes in exchange rate, as we said. Firstly, we all of us know what is exchange rate. But if you are defining exchange rate, how we can define it? Exchange rate is rate at which one currency can be exchanged for another currency. So if one currency is exchanging for another currency, what is the rate? What is the rate at which these two currencies are exchanged? That is called exchange rate. In other words, we can also say that it is the price of one currency in terms of another currency. Suppose price of Indian rupee in terms of dollar, or price of dollar in terms of Indian rupee. This is also can be another definition of exchange rate. For example, today's exchange rate of $1 is equal to 72.79 rupees. Okay, that is today's exchange rate of a dollar. We can also express it in terms of 1 rupee. 1 rupee is equal to $0.014. So this is the exchange rate of one currency in terms of another currency. Okay. But when we are talking in India, we mostly talk about the dollars rate. Okay, what is the dollars rate? Whether it is 72 or whether it has any changes to 60 or 80. So that will be the normally our discussion in Indian context. Okay. So I think no need to explain much about the exchange rate because we all of us know what is exchange rate. So what are the different types of exchange rate? There are nominal exchange rate and also real exchange rate. Nominal exchange rate is the price of one currency in terms of another currency, as we said, without any adjustment for the relative prices between the countries. So it is just nominal. It means it is just a nominal money terms. As we said, 72 rupees is equal to $1. So it is a nominal exchange rate. We are not considering or we are not making any adjustment to relative prices between the countries, or we can say without considering the inflation. So the relative price might be different in different nations, and there might be some countries might be with high inflation and some countries might be with low inflation. Without considering all these factors, if you are measuring the the value of one currency in terms of another currency, then we can say that it is a nominal exchange rate. Then if you're making some adjustment according to the price changes in different countries or according to the purchasing power of the currency, then we can say that it is a real exchange rate. So real exchange rate is the price of one currency in terms of another with adjustment for the price changes. So this rate also will be changes according to the inflation rate or the purchasing power of a currency. Then we can say that it is a real exchange rate. Okay, so when we are getting nominal exchange rate, if you are making an adjustment by considering the inflation in two nations, then we can say that it is real exchange rate. Okay, another two important classification of exchange rate, that is nominal effective exchange rate and real effective exchange rate, which is also known as NER and RER. What is NER? NER is an unadjusted weighted average rate at which one country's currency exchange for a basket of multiple foreign currencies. In nominal exchange rate, we were calculating the value of one currency in terms of another one currency. But in nominal effective exchange rate, we are calculating the value of one currency in terms of a basket of another currencies. Okay, so it is an unadjusted weighted average rate which one country's currency exchange for a basket of multiple foreign currencies. So we are taking an average value, an adjusted weighted average rate. Then we can say that it is a nominal effective exchange rates. Okay. Then if it is real effective exchange rate, which is also known as a RER, it is the weighted average of a country's currency in relation to index of basket of other major currencies, as we said in RER. But here the weights are determined according to the relative trade balance or the purchasing power of currency. Or we can say that if the NER is adjusted to the inflation or NER is adjusted to the purchasing power of a currency, then we can say that it is a RER. Okay, the difference between nominal exchange rate and real exchange rate, here also the same difference, because RER is adjusted for inflation or the purchasing power and NER is not adjusted, and both are the average value of a currency with respect to certain other basket of currencies. Okay. This data for Indian case is available in Reserve Bank of India's website. You can just go and check it. It is like an index. Okay, so it might be going up and going down also. Then I think there are various types of exchange rate, but I think we will be going to that in future. Now we can go to the exchange rate changes. There are different types of exchange rate changes like devaluation, revaluation, then depreciation, appreciation, overvaluation and undervaluation. So these are the changes in the exchange rates. Okay, once again, devaluation, revaluation, depreciation, appreciation and overvaluation and undervaluation. 6 changes in exchange rates. So we will be discussing what are the changes. Some of the people are confused what is devaluation and what is depreciation. So there are clear-cut differences among this. So firstly, we can talk about the devaluation. Devaluation of a currency means official reduction in the value of a currency. In the first example, we have said that today's rate is $1 is equal to 72 rupees. So 72 rupees, that rate is fixed, suppose. Then if the government wants an official reduction in the value of currency, then it is known as devaluation. Okay, suppose for the sake of example we can take that $1 is equal to 60. Okay, then I think it will be more easier to convey the message to you. Then $1 is equal to 60 rupees. So we want to make an official reduction. Who is doing this official reduction? It might be doing by the government or by the central bank. In Indian case, it is a Reserve Bank. Okay, then if the government is wants to reduce the value of a one currency, what it means? Will it be $1 is equal to 60? Will it go to the $1 is equal to 80, or will it come down to $1 is equal to 50? Official reduction in the value of currency. Value is reducing. What it means? Value doesn't mean that it's a price. Value means one currency will have a value with respect to other currency. So here we are saying that $1 is equal to 60 rupees. If we are giving 60 rupees, we will be getting $1, suppose. So it's a value of $1. That's why we are giving 60. Now, if you are reducing the value of Indian currency, it will go from $1 is equal to 60 rupees. From that to $1 is equal to 120, for example. Value is reduced, but the rate has increased. Okay. Before, if you are giving 60 rupees, we will get $1, but now it is not possible because our currency doesn't have any value, and if you are giving 120 rupees, then only we will be getting $1. This is the message. Okay, so the value is reduced means our exchange rate will go up. If you are giving 120 rupees, then only we will be getting $1. Okay. So if there is a changes, devaluation, it is an official reduction. Official reduction means reduction by the government or central bank, as we said. This is only possible in fixed exchange rates system. Okay, we will be discussing what is fixed and what is flexible exchange rate system, but for the sake of understanding, now you can understand that official reduction is done by government or central bank in fixed exchange rate system. What is the benefit? Normally this is doing to to avoid the balance of payment problems. Balance of payment problem means if we have suppose we have more import and less export, so devaluation will be a solution. How? If we are reducing the value, our export will increase, our import will decrease. How? Suppose I can tell you one example. Suppose we are selling one notebook. Sorry, if we are selling one pen, and if we are exporting it, and its price is suppose 120. Its price is 120. Okay, suppose we are exporting this pen of 120 rupees. We are putting the price, that's why we are putting 120 rupees because it is produced in India, and we are exporting to US. Okay, so the exchange rate is the first exchange rate. $1 is equal to 60. Okay, the pen's price is 120. Then how much dollar should be given to this to buy this pen by a foreigner? He should give $2. $2 will be equal to this 120 rupees because our exchange rate is $1 is equal to 60. So if he give $2, we will be happy because we are getting 120 rupees. But now suppose that means we are devaluing our currency, then $1 is equal to 120, as we say. Then how much will be the price of pen in dollar? the price of pen will be just $1, because now 120 is equal to $1. Okay, 120 is equal to $1. So we will be getting only $1. So what happened to the price of our pen? In Indian case it is same, because 120 rupees, it is just 120 rupees. But when we are considering the foreigners, it was they need to give $2 at first, but now they can only give $1, then they can get the pen. They can get the pen. The price has reduced. So if the price has reduced for foreigners, they will buy more of our pen, and our export will be increased. Okay, so the same reverse situation will happen in the case of imports. When we are importing some of the products, and if the country is making a devaluation in our currency, then our imports will be expensive. So we will be buying less commodities from abroad. So if we are reducing our import, and if we are increasing our export, automatically the balance of payment deficit problem will be solved. Okay, so this devaluation is applied in some situations to this kind of problems. Okay. So now revaluation. Revaluation is just opposite of this devaluation. Revaluation of currency means the official increase in the value of currency. Okay, 120 is equal to $1. So if you are increasing the value means exchange rate is reduced from 120 to 60. Okay, if you are moving from 120 is equal to $1 to $1 is equal to 60, then we can say that it is a revaluation, because our value of our currency is increased. Before we need to give 120 rupees to get $1, but now it is we are able to get $1 with giving only 60 rupees. That's why our value of our currency has increased. Value of our currency has increased means the exchange rate has reduced from 120 to 60. So the revaluation of currency means official increase in the value of currency. So as a result of this revaluation, revaluation is also happening in a fixed exchange rate system. As a result, export will decrease and import will increase. Surplus in the BOP will be wiped out. So through the devaluation, we could have wipe out our deficit, but if there is a surplus, we can wipe out our surplus through the revaluation. So this is the difference between devaluation and revaluation. So what is depreciation? When we have talked about the devaluation and revaluation, it was an official reduction. But when we are talking about the depreciation, means reduction in the value of currency in terms of another currency based on demand and supply, not because of official reduction. Okay, not because of official reduction, but it is completely depend upon the market forces, and it is determined according to demand and supply. It is just like a product. So before it was $1 is equal to 60 rupees, as we said in the case of devaluation. Now it has changed to $1 is equal to 120 rupees. It is a depreciation, because a reduction in the value of our currency, but not because of official reduction, but it is because of demand and supply changes. So this is known as depreciation. This depreciation is happening in the flexible exchange rate system or managed exchange rate system. Okay, not in fixed exchange rate system. Okay, so this is depreciation. Here also the same changes will happen. Our export will be increased and imports will be coming down. Okay. Then what is appreciation? Appreciation means increasing the value of currency in terms of other currencies based on demand and supply, just opposite of depreciation. Okay, not by the official reduction, but increasing the value because of there are some changes in the demand and supply. Okay, then there is a appreciation. This is also happening in the case of flexible exchange rate or managed floating exchange rate system. Okay, here the import will be going up and export will be coming down if we apply the if we are not applying if there is a appreciation in the value of currency. Then there is a two terms known as overvaluation and undervaluation. Overvaluation, it is a situation, it is not a change exactly, it is a situation of a currency whose value on the exchange market is kept higher than it is believed to be sustainable or determined by the market forces. Suppose that one rate might be there which is determined according to market forces. But if the government or central banks fixes the value of currency higher than that market value, okay, then that kind of situation is known as overvaluation. Okay, what is the need of overvaluation? It is not a sudden increase or decrease by the government, but it is a situation. The currency's value is kept higher than the market value. Then what is the purpose of that? Suppose that overvaluation, we can say that it is just like a appreciation. Just like a appreciation. Appreciation, our currency's value is high. If the currency's value is high, it will lead to the high import, as we say, and less export. Suppose that there might be two reasons for this. If we want more import of raw materials or any other products for defense or any other purpose, the country can go with the overvaluation of our currency and we can have high imports. And also in another case, if we have high debt, with any other country or any other organization, if our currency is very less, if our value of our currency is very less, we need to pay very large amount of our currency. So if there is an overvaluation, our currency's value will be high and we can pay less. So in these two situations, the government can go with overvaluation policies. They can imply some kind of policies and they can go with overvaluation of currencies. But this is not an official policy. Normally some of the countries are doing this kind of overvaluation, like China, or undervaluation to promote the exports also. So undervaluation, it is a situation of currency whose value on the exchange market is kept lower than what is necessary for attaining external balance. So it is lower than the market determined exchange rate. So if you take the example of 60 is equal to $1, the situation is undervaluation, whether it will be less than 60 or more than 60. It will be more than 60. 120 is equal to $1 because the currency is undervalued. The value is less. That's why we need to pay more, 120 rupees to get $1. So what might be the reason for this? For export promotion mainly. Some of the countries are following this undervaluation policies. Okay, so in both cases, overvaluation and undervaluation, it is a situation, not just a mere changes in the exchange rates. Okay, so these are the concepts related to exchange rate changes. I hope it's clear for you. So you can refer, Rana and Verma will be enough for all this, and also Dominic Salvatore also you can refer for this. Thank you very much for listening to this class.